Welcome back to Wandering Gods. Dorian and Otis have been tasked with tracking down their village's god after it awoke, destroying said village and a rival god in the process. Last chapter our heroes had a run-in with some spoiled potatoes, which led to Dorian not being in the greatest state of mind, and causing a fight to erupt between Dorian and Otis. They were knocked unconscious and now find themselves awake in this next chapter of Wandering Gods.
Welcome to Heroes Feast. May we take your order, please? Welcome to Heroes Feast. Tell us what's your fantasy. Pirates are the special. We got gods on the side, bastards on the daily. All you gotta do is decide. Take your time, cause we got plenty. Just 1 sec, gotta roll a d20. Eat it here or take it to go. Put your earbuds in and enjoy the show. Into the wild, the great unknown, through burning deserts and jungles overgrown, we will fight against all the odds in search of wandering gods.
Alright, so first things first, let's roll Constitution. Not save. Well, yeah, Constitution save, and we'll see who comes to consciousness first.
Me. Because I know he can't roll better than that.
Oh my god! Bad news! Dorian never wakes up! He died!
I got a comatose insect.
Shit. You know what? You're not really supposed to mix, like, narcotics and, like, other things, I'm sure, so maybe that's why.
You got some bad drug
If you
interaction.
kill Dorian, I understand at this point. He's below half health. He's ingested a bunch of drugs, and now he's been poisoned.
He goes in it over.
I get it. If he dies.
He deserves it.
Oh my god.
He gets it, and he deserves it.
All right, then. Well,
I can play as a rescue crew member or something.
we'll say, Otis, you come to consciousness.
I mean, to be fair, answers are not going to be received now on the stone. That stone's gone.
Yeah, and that's why they send a rescue crew.
I love that so much. Like, if I was more willing to cry about things, tears of joy, because it turned out so much better than I could ever have hoped. Anyways, Otis, you awaken to the sound of chatter in the background. Because you rolled so well, I'll say you recognize it. It's the chatter from earlier. They're talking again. And it's a little jarring, but it's nighttime now, so you've been out for at least half a day or so, assuming another day hasn't passed in betwixt now and then. You recognize that, like, you kind of have that that staticky feeling where a leg falls asleep and you get up.
Oh, I hate that.
You kind of have that all over your body now. And you can, like, kind of wiggle your toes and your fingers if you really concentrate on it. And you're kind of just slumped against a tree, and Dorian's next to you. He may or may not be dead. You can't tell, really. I don't think you care.
I don't care.
But and also you're all kind of bandaged up, so you're not as fucked up as we left off. It seems like whatever's, like, there's no arrow wound. Well, there's still arrow wounds, I guess, but they've been, like, bandaged and stuff. You're not, like, bleeding out. You're probably still in a bit of, well, you can't feel the pain because you're numb still, but, like,
I just feel tingly all over.
You're not at 9 hit points is the point. So let's say roll 2d12 and we'll see how much it heals you for. Does that bring you up to full now, or is it just, like, better than
I
it
got
was?
more hit. I got 30 hit points.
All right, that was a decent amount, right? Yeah. So okay, so I'll say, so the information that comes in waves is you hear them chattering, feeling you're all tingly, sight, it's dark out, and then as you look around, and your kind of senses wake up and expand, you realize it's not just the two kidnappers chattering. It's a lot of people chattering because you're in a campsite. A campsite that looks, as you look around, like it's packing up, oddly enough, even though it's nighttime. Like, you see people putting out campfires and taking down tents and whatnot. And as you look to the kidnappers in front of you...
Wait, did you say Dorian's still passed out, right?
Yeah, you're still the fuck. You're outsies.
Yeah.
You might be
You
for a
got
while.
22 hours.
You crit failed, bud.
Yeah.
You crit failed.
I understand.
You're lucky you're still alive, kid.
Nothing personal.
Hypothetically, I could have kicked you off the call, I guess, but I'd have to explain it twice, you know? But yeah, so you look towards the two kidnappers, and you might be surprised to think they seem short because they seem rather young. If you had to take a guess, a couple of teenagers took you two down. It seems, to be fair, it was dirty tactics because they fired something at you to make you go numb, but they don't look like bug people. They don't look like Seteskins either. They got these big old eyes, big old yellow eyes, short gray hair, and wider than normal ears with little kind of like fuzzy tufts at the end of them. And they seem to be in kind of a heated argument.
What the fuck are these? What? Are they lemurs?
Lemur-esque.
Oh, good. Are they like those one things with the big ol' eye? I can't remember them.
The eye, perhaps?
The eye? Is that what it is?
No, actually, they're not. I've Googled it several times while I was doing this. They're not actually called eyes. I don't know why I keep referring to them as eyes. What are they?
Oh, they're eye, but they're A-Y-E. Or, isn't there one like really big eyes, though?
Oh, no, not eyes. What am I thinking of? Fuck, where did I put it? Where did I write it?
I can see all the pictures, but I can't click on them.
What is it?
This is very important. What are you called? What are you called? I just need to know what you're called.
It's got the fingers. It's got the weird fingers.
These guys?
The slow Loris?
Yeah, the Loris, I think, is what it is. I'm a good DM. I'm prepped for things.
Tarsier. Is that what this is?
The Loris?
Yes, the Tarsier.
No, Loris is too cute. It's the creepy looking one.
The one that I linked?
I think so.
That's
Hang
the
on, let me
Tarsier.
try. Where is it? Oh, no, I was right. Hang on.
The eye? Eyes aren't that creepy. Oh,
They
no,
have
they are
bigger,
kinda creepy.
cuter eyes.
Now we're learning of rainforest animals.
Eye. They look like
I
eyes.
hate that finger.
So they look like, if you had to take a guess over what kind of thing they take patron to, it probably is going to look like an eye because they look like eyes.
Ugh.
But yeah, they take more after Seteskin people like you, Otis, rather than the bug people like Dorian, whereas the bug people very rarely exhibited like a lot of signs for their god. At most, it was just the blackened sclera, maybe antennae every now and again. Whereas people like you, Otis, and people like them, it seems, you really
Embody.
yes, that was the exact word. Thank you.
I got
You really embody elements of your gods to more extreme fashions.
Hello?
They both turn to look at you, and then they look back at each other, and one of them like looks so angry and walks over to you, and they kind of just squat down.
Please don't be angry with me.
And I knew you were going to meet these people, and I should have come up with voices, and I didn't think of voices. Hang on, give me a second. Okay, here goes. Not angry, just...
Not smart either, apparently.
We can make you unconscious again if you'd prefer.
No,
We saved your life. This guy was trying to kill you.
he was. I don't know why he's still alive.
He's breathing kind of shallow. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
What are you? You're a Seteskin, right? From the coast?
Yep,
What are you doing in the jungle?
I was traveling. I am a traveler, you see.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's... I see insight isn't a strong suit with these guys.
I mean, they're not wrong. You're traveling, kind of. And they gesture to Dora next to you, and they're like, "Is he hunting you or something?"
I don't know. He just came at me. He seemed like he was raving, or is that the right word? Like a ravenous beast with his potatoes. I don't know. And then he shot me.
Oh, potatoes. Can I see the
Yes.
potatoes?
I don't know if he still has them.
They walk over to Dorian and just start rummaging in his bag next to him, and they pull out the potatoes and like take out a little pocket knife dagger, slice into it, and they look at it and they kind of just laugh, and they like make a noise and call over their compatriot. And she comes over and like looks at it and starts laughing, and they both kind of just have a laugh about it. And they toss the potato away, and they're like, yeah, your friend was probably just tripping out there. Or not friend, I guess. But if you want, we're heading out soon, so we can just leave him here.
That sounds good.
Okay. Bye, Dorian.
Relationship deleted.
Friendship with Dorian ended. Now I people are my new best friends.
Do you recognize his tribe at all, or his place of origin?
Yeah, he's with the mountain people, right? Those wardens that always crawl into our jungles every now and again.
I did. Well, I said I was a traveler, but I never encountered anybody like this.
Really? They are usually all over the place here. They're always kind of hunting for gods and stuff.
Well, you see, I haven't traveled into the jungle much. I more traveled along the coast, not into the jungle, you see. But recently I was like,
okay, hey, all right, let's roll deception then, I guess.
Let's go into the forest. But, I'm not really good at that, but, here I am, frail old man, me oh my.
Yeah, so with that 5 you rolled, as you talk, it was almost like they were willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, but as you continue talking, you watch their very large eyes kind of squint, and then they go, yeah, we're going to take your druggy friend here with us, and we'll wait for him to wake up if he does, and we'll find out the story, but...
No, Horace, you can't just leave him here, though.
Nah, the council's going to want to talk to you both anyways, so...
Can you at least tie him up? I'm a bit worried he might go bloodlust again on me.
They, like, roll their eyes and kind of look back at their friend and, like, start talking to them again. And she kind of, like, looks around and points to the other side of camp. And the one talking to you nods, and she goes off and comes back with Goliath. And they're like, we can tie him to this. It's one of yours, right?
It's his.
All right, we'll tie him to it, and should be fine.
Better gag him, too. He might be able to run away with it. It listens to verbal commands.
You see him kind of, like, squint at you again, but this time it, like, feels like you are telling the truth, so they kind of nod and say, yeah, all right. So they saddle up Dorian and strap him down and tie him up. And
he's tied, like, his hands in front of him, is behind his back, and his feet tied, and then thrown over the back of Goliath, right? Like
essentially,
like
yeah.
He's a pack.
Like a criminal.
Like a sack of taters. You have become onto the tater. So the girl who was hanging out with you guys, kind of, sort of, leads Goliath off to where it looks like the rest of the camp is kind of getting into, like, a line. And they're kind of, like, lining up next to this, like, hill nearby. And the other one who was talking to you guys comes back, and they squat down in front of you, Otis, and they're like, can you walk yet?
Let me try.
The paralyzer should have worn off by now.
I can try.
Try.
I try.
It works.
Wow.
You're fine now. So yeah, as you stand up, it really hits you that, like, yeah, these were 2 teenagers. And they look pretty goddamn similar too. But the one in front of you just kind of, like, nods and says, all right, I'm Juna, by the way. That's Margoon. And they point to the girl helping, well, not helping, I guess, but leading
right.
the tide of Dorian away.
Julie and who?
Juna and Margoon.
Jula and Margoo. Okay.
How old are you?
60. Carry the tree. Carry the tree.
Yeah, all right. You should probably, come with me. And they, like, kind of hold out their weirdly spindly hand finger, like, kind of, like, towards you.
Do I grab onto the palm or the finger?
Don't be fucking rude. Just grab my hand.
It's a genuine question, but okay.
I mean, the hand. To be fair, it would be weird to just hold on to someone's fingers. Unless that's just... I don't know how they do it in Sateska. Maybe that's what they
like.
Like,
like, you know how a child grips like an adult's hand? Is that, like, the comparable, like, difference? Or is it, like, a regular ass hand.
Oh, for Otis?
Yeah.
No, it is a bit longer than most. Picture like Jack Skellington hand. Well, picture an eye, but as a human hand, I guess. But like it's very Jack Skellington-esque, but with a thicker palm, kind of. So yeah, you can hold it on the palm, but their fingers are gonna wrap uncomfortably all the way around your hand.
I will power through it. Do it for Mother.
Yeah, so they drag you along.
My name is Oitithreus, by the way.
Otithreus. They probably could pronounce that so much better. It's
works.
Emily who's gonna have a problem with it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Wow,
Cool.
you're the first from other clans I've encountered that has been able to pronounce my name. This is the good day.
Well, we're pretty nomadic, so that's why I can talk to you pretty easily. I've picked up a couple languages in my time. Margoon doesn't really give a shit about other languages, though.
Margot is very quiet, it's true.
Well, she talks a lot.
Oh,
It's just in our language.
right.
So you get in the line. Everyone's all kind of lined up, and there's just kind of milling about. Like, when everyone's waiting for like a store to open or something. Dorian, roll another Constitution save.
Please
So
do that.
here I go constituting again. 17.
Damn it. Hey, he looks like he's waking up. Could you hit him with another one of those?
We'll just give him a second. It's not really healthy to have more of that in your system.
I might paralyze you permanently, I understand.
So Dorian, you wake up, gagged, bound, on the back of Goliath, looking at the ground. It's very dark. Luckily, though, you don't feel like puking your guts out while simultaneously feeling like you could tackle a god. So you've kind of mellowed. Actually, roll another Constitution save. Let's see if you have some sort of hangover.
Oh, good. Please do that. Yes!
That one. I'm crying.
You almost preferred it when you were full of the potatoes, because this feels a lot worse.
Oh, dear.
Margoon starts talking, and Juno was like, just a second, and goes over, and then comes back to you, Otis, and they're just like, he's crying. What's wrong with him?
Many things, dear.
Okay.
He
Well,
had a troubled past. And his mother, I don't know, probably abandoned him or something.
oh yeah, give me that deep Dorian lore, Otis. I'm sure you know it.
Yeah. I can only presume.
Both of you roll perception, but Dorian at disadvantage because you're on Goliath.
4.
Okay.
Disadvantage perception. I'm gonna roll a 10.
This is so much different than Pojbark, who sees everything.
With her big fish eyes.
Yeah. now I've downgraded to small fish eyes, and it's not as good.
Oh, they're both fish people. I never made the connection.
I've only
I
just
love
made
it.
the connection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine. But but Juna and Margoon seem to notice something, and everyone else in the camp seems to notice something, and all eyes kind of turn towards that hill they were lining up by. And Juna kind of comes back to you, Otis, and they nudge you, and they're like, "You should pay attention. This is gonna be pretty neat, I bet."
I like a dangerous, terrifying kind of neat, or like an awe-inspiring and.
No, draw it out.
Terrific.
How much longer can you go with that?
I was grasping for words.
Juna kind of talks to Margoon for a bit, and they nod, and then Juna turns back, and they're like, awe-inspiring, definitely awe-inspiring.
Okay, where am I watching?
Well, you look up and you see the moon in the sky, or at least it's where the moon probably would have been, but you might recall a few nights ago that it was a moonless night, so it seems a little strange that the moon is that bright in the sky right now, and also that it's so close, and also that it seems to be moving. So you watch as the moon on the hill kind of gets up and shifts, and
Junifer,
it's Juna.
Juno, did you drug me?
No, this is cool, man. This is our god.
Your god is a moon?
This is the moon eye. And you watch as
The moon eye?
the moon eye.
Oh, that shit is so cool.
And the hill gets up and moves, and you realize it's not really a hill at all, and the moon isn't a moon, it's the eye of the hill, and the hill is this big old god beast as it gets up, and its terrible spindly fingers and toes come out, and it's covered in all this kind of like, you realize you might have thought it was a hill because it was kind of green, but you realize now that it's just kind of like moss that was growing in its fur.
Wait, are they eyelids?
Eyelids?
We had two like hills that were clear. Those were definitely eyelids.
The two clearings you walked through?
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
You can't tell me those are not gods and those were the eyelids. Or balls or breasts or butt.
One was a clearing because this is where they had camped the previous time. This was this clan back there. Now they're here. That other clearing, though, who knows? You guys didn't go in it, so you'll never find out.
The puzzle pieces are connecting. In the wrong way, probably, but, I'm gluing them together.
I've connected the dots. You did connect shit. I've connected them. But yeah, and so this very large god kind of shifts up and starts walking very slowly through the forest, and everyone kind of excitedly chatters and starts following along with it. And as it walks, you see these little like globules of light kind of shake out of its fur and kind of dance around the rest of them, and then they just kind of dissipate like fog almost, and they just kind of flutter around everyone. And you see like little kids running around, and they like kind of throw them up in the air as they run between everyone else walking around. And it's generally a fun vibe as everyone just starts their nightly pilgrimage following their god. And Juna turns to look at you.
This is very different than Sateska.
Well, yeah, all gods are different, but isn't this cool? We don't get to show this to many outsiders, so consider yourself lucky.
It's very picturesque.
The picture I've painted with my excellent vocabulary and words. Hello. It's your friendly neighborhood DM Emily, coming at you with the non-ad ad break. Once again, we're here to say thank you for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it. There are so many podcasts out there, so the fact that you take time to listen to ours means a lot. We love it. We love you, and we appreciate you spending this time with us. And if you like what you hear, why not share with a friend? Since we don't pay for advertising, word of mouth is really the only way people are going to hear about this podcast. So telling people about this podcast is the best way to let them know that we exist and they should give us a listen. If you're looking for ways to share our podcast, you're not limited to just telling your roommate about it. You can also rate and review us on iTunes, or like and subscribe if you're watching from our YouTube channel. You can also leave reviews and comments on any of the other various podcasting sites you're listening through, such as Podbean or Spotify or Castbox. There's a myriad of options out there. And don't forget, if you haven't followed us yet, you can follow us at Heroes Feast Pod. No underscore, no dashes, all lowercase. That's the username for our Twitter account and for our Instagram account. Follow us on both of those sites and you can get previews and teasers released when a new episode comes out, as well as the first glance at any new contests or promotions we're doing on the Twitter account. And I believe that's everything. Once again, thank you for listening. Thanks for spending this hour with us. Hope you have a fantastic day, and let's get back to the episode.
Jake.
From State Farm.
That's the best J. I don't know many J names.
You'll have to compile another list.
I need a J list. Hold up. Change that to girl. Change that to J. Here we go.
Well, Juna's non-binary.
I don't have a non-binary. JC. That seems.
Just call them Jimothy. Just make up weird names.
Timothy. Jalen. Jalen.
You're kind of bad with names, huh, old man?
Frankly, I'm lucky I remember my own name. It's surprising because, I'm very smart, but the memory part of my brain, it's kind of dysfunctional in my tenure on this planet.
Margoon makes a comment and Juna kind of laughs at it.
Ha ha ha! It's very funny.
Oh, you speak our language?
I do not.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't remember.
How's Dorian doing, by the way? Is he still crying?
No, he's just moaning in pain now. And now he's like, eyes are a little bit more alert, and they're kind of like flicking around and everything going on.
He's kind of just watching the ground pass and listening to people talk. I suppose he can understand Otis and Juna, though, so he knows what they're talking about.
Hurry! Oh, wait! You probably speak Setescan, don't you?
A little, yeah.
How convenient.
We don't make it down to the coast too often.
That's unfortunate, but understandable. The tides are kind of dangerous for people who, I assume you can't swim very well.
I mean,
Or maybe you can, I don't know.
I don't like to swim. I don't know. We don't
It's
really
dangerous to swim at night. It's understandable. Do not worry.
There's rivers, but I don't know. There's weird shit in the rivers.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust them either. There's like piranhas and barracudas and turtles. Snap.
Margoon like chimes up again, and June is like, yeah. There's like weird serpent fish things too. It's nasty in the rivers.
Eels? I know.
Eels? Heard of them.
I don't go to freshwater much. I'm more of a saltwater person, very salty. Well, I was gonna say something again, but once again, I have forgotten.
Maybe you should take notes of your many, many smart thoughts.
Yes. Oh, I remember. Nope. I just remembered that I remembered there was a process that I needed to go, which involved the Setescan, so that he wouldn't hear, but I do not remember why I didn't need to hear him to whatever.
I wanted to talk shit, but I didn't remember what of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Juna kind of like claps their spindly fingers together. They're like, oh, but that means you can teach me more Setescan, right? Because you're a native.
Yes, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 languages. Though, frankly, they're not really, above game. They are Aquan and Draconic and Dwarven, so,
We'll make them fit. There's, like I said, there was also the deserts you could have gone through, so perhaps Otis has picked up whatever fucking group is in the deserts language.
I don't know. I know 2 other languages. 3 other? I know Promethean. Ooh, that's a good name for that language. Promethean. There you go.
Choice.
And Setescan and 3 others then.
Well, now you know their or you can learn their language. I will come up with a name for it.
Oh, I remember the question I was going to ask before. My god has been active for some time, but yours appears to have a cyclical nature following that of the day cycle. Is this correct?
Yeah, it kind of hunkers down during the daytime, and that's when we hunker down too next to it. And then when it wakes up at night and goes, we go too.
Does it protect you?
In its own way, yeah.
Right.
The lights help. We can use them to make our paralyzers and our weapons, and they kind of like gesture to the dagger they're holding and stuff. And you kind of notice that a lot of the weaponry that you see, because these people aren't entirely unarmed, and it seems like while there is a general sense of merriment around, you can kind of see on the edges of this trail of people, there are like guards and things warily keeping an eye on the jungle, and like they've got arrows and daggers and things, and they all seem to kind of have like a faint glow to them, almost like like glow in the dark stuff kind of when it's like freshly charged. They all kind of look like that sort of, but like more white than green.
And your people, what are they called? You're nomadic people. You probably don't really have a name for your people. It's understandable.
Juna kind of like looks around and like kind of like gestures at the orbs and stuff, and they're just like, well, we're called the Lunuculi, or at least that's what we call ourselves to others. It seems weird to refer to ourselves as a people amongst ourselves.
I understand.
You're very understanding. It's pretty cool.
Yes. You get to my age only by being very understanding. That one there probably won't last too long.
Dorian was like mid-20s, you said, right?
Yes.
A baby.
Okay. A baby. A wee lad. And that's when like Margoon kind of walks over to you guys and like nudges Juna and like looks ahead, and Juna looks and is like, oh shit, the council's coming this way. They're gonna want to talk to you.
How do I, Show
Just
respect.
be nice.
Oh, that's very hard.
They kind of like look at Margoon and back at you, and they like kind of shrug, and they're just like, we don't get visitors a lot. We don't exactly have like proper protocol or anything.
Understandable.
I'm just gonna hang back here with Margoon though.
There's a sort of familiarity between all of you that I do not possess. It's understandable.
It's Otis's new catchphrase.
It's understandable.
Lark, it's in front of my notes. Just a second. Yeah, you chitter all you want. Get out of the way. There we go. She is part bug. No. And so, Dorian, you're still on the side of Goliath. Are you trying to escape, or are you just in so much pain that you're just kind of, this is your life?
Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely trying to stay. Can I roll sleight of hand?
And sleight of hand at disadvantage because you're in an incredible amount of pain right now.
Okay. Oogie. 8. Another 24. That would have been awesome. Oh, well. Oh, 8.
Dude, those are 2 nat 20s. I've just gone down the drain.
I know. That's heartbreaking. They were nat 20s. Oh, no. I wish you wouldn't have pointed it out.
Your limbs still feel kind of thick and fuzzy. So, like, you don't have the dexterity you've come to rely on. So it's more just kind of you just being like, and nothing happening.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Otis, you see coming towards you 3 figures. 2 of them look very similar to Juna and Margoon in that they seem to have the similar, big eyes, gray hair. It's not like, it's like a coarse gray, like where the roots are like kind of black, like animal fur, long spindly fingers. But one of them towers above them by like a good foot or so. And they've got 1 eye instead of 2 eyes.
Towers above them by a good foot.
Hey man, when someone's a foot taller than you, it really makes a difference.
Wait, does he only have like a cyclops eye, or does he like eye patch eye?
She only has 1 eye, as in a cyclops eye, as in like the god's 1 eye.
Wait, the god only has 1 eye?
Yeah, that's why it's called the moon eye singular.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, well, gods aren't supposed to look just like people.
Rad as hell, but terrifying.
Gods are supposed to look like the mythical creatures, hence why this one looks this way and has little globes of light falling out of you. But yeah, so they all kind of approach you, but then kind of keep walking in stride with you because everyone's still walking, obviously, as they go.
Good evening, or good morning.
You can call it evening. That's fine. One of the people addresses you. God, I gotta think of voices again. I've been skating by on the fact that you guys haven't met anyone yet.
Are you tired of doing voices to this DM? Just don't have them meet anybody. Ever. It's them.
Just don't have people.
That definitely was my strategy.
Just don't have people. Love
For
it.
a really long time. But yeah, so one of the figures says, you can call it evening, that's fine. And then they kind of hold out a hand, like to shake. And they say,
I will shake it.
hand shook. How was I gonna, what were their pronouns? Who was I doing here?
There was a he and a she. The
Yes,
she had the big eye, and the he was the other one.
Natu, the one who shook your hand, says, I am Natu.
Oh, good. I will remember your name.
This is Ura, and they gesture to the 1-eye lady, and Fu, and they gesture to the other 3rd one there, who will say,
Natura Fu. Gotcha.
Well, we're not one entity, but yes.
It seemed like you were.
Okay, we'll say Natu is he, him,
Natu.
and then Ura is she, her,
Ura.
and Fu, we'll say Fu. You can use any old pronouns for Fu.
How convenient that the one with 1 syllable is not the one with 1 eye.
No, that's Ura.
Yes, they have 2 syllables. How inconvenient.
So, Natu kind of like, I just realized now it's Natu like the Pokemon. Oh, shit.
That's what I've just thought of. I'm like, oh, wait, there's a Pokemon called Natu.
I spelled it with 2 O's and not a U, and I didn't notice it until I spoke it into existence. Anyways, fucking Natu looks at you, Otis, and they say, sorry for the way you entered our clan. I hope it wasn't too unsettling.
Don't worry, it's a common occurrence for me.
You commonly get paralyzed and kidnapped. That seems troubling.
Of a sort. I become unconscious and kidnapped, we'll call it that. Paralysis is sometimes involved.
Well, we are traveling with our god. I recognize it might not be the same path you are going, but you're more than welcome to join us until then.
Sure.
Cool, all right. Welcome to the road trip. Natu kind of nods and looks curiously over at Dorian and then back at you and says, and why is your comrade tied up right now exactly?
He was overcome with bloodlust and rage.
Oh, is he a danger? We really
He can
can't.
be.
And Natu kind of stares at you and then looks at Ura and Fu, and they kind of talk amongst themselves in their language. Roll perception.
My best stat.
And Dorian, if you want to roll, oh my fucking god.
So for the viewers, that's a nat 1 plus 0.
How many nat ones? Okay, and can I roll sleight of hand again?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then I was wowed by the nat 1.
15.
Yeah, you managed to wriggle your hands free, we'll say.
Okay, I pretend they're not free as I try and figure out how I'm gonna get off in general.
I mean, you have overheard most of the conversations, so you are kind of abreast of the situation, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while that's happening, Natu turns back to you and says, listen, if he is a danger, we do need to know. We have enough on our plate as it is, and we really can't afford to have another risk factor here.
He almost killed me. If that's any indication, though I am a frail old man.
That sounds like a risk factor to me.
He would be no big loss.
I take out my gag and scream, the old man's lying. He ran into me in the woods. He's been trying to kill me. He's been after me for 3 days now. He is relentless psychopath. He is a relentless psychopath.
The council all looks at you surprised, and like Juna and Margoon also kind of look at you. And then Juna and Margoon start arguing, probably about tying knots. And then the council look back at you, Otis, and they're just like,
I'm
what?
sure you have gone through my bodies and my persons. My bodies.
Ew.
Terrible.
No, my belongings. That's the word. And seeing that I only possess a stick and a book and a knife fight, I am not.
He uses magic. He wouldn't have any weapons.
Yes, I am a traveling wizard. It is true.
Well, we are no strangers to magic here.
And I create a little I make a gust of wind that's kind of warm.
So you like breathe on them? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not breathing on them like a weirdo.
You're magically creating wind. Okay, yeah. Margoon, like in the background, like claps.
He's magically breathing on them.
Yeah.
So Fu walks over to you, Dorian, and they're like, well, let's just untie them and we'll have a discussion, I suppose. Oh, Fu sounds an awful lot like Natu, but what can you do? Anyways. So Fu unties your feet and helps you off of Goliath. Well, actually, I guess depends if you accept their help or not.
I do.
Okay, then yeah.
I hide behind Ura.
Easy to do. Ura's very tall. Fu helps you down with their spindly hands. And then guides you over towards the rest of the council and Dorian, where everyone's kind of walking along.
Oh god, imagine a witch of these people. That finger's like at least 2 foot long.
Ew.
That's what you call a bad touch right there.
So Natu looks between the two and says, now, what is the story exactly, please? We need to know.
He is dangerous. I am not.
Dorian looks at Otis, looks at the council, looks at Otis, takes a pause. He looks down. I may not have been entirely honest with my accusations.
Juna pipes up from the background and speaks some words in their language. And you see all of them kind of go, like, have an oh moment. And Fu kind of like...
He is dangerous.
Puts her arm around you, Dorian, and they're like, we understand.
Well, that's my phrase.
Rotted potatoes can get to everyone. Don't worry. Kids here like to use them for fun sometimes, but it can go very wrong, as I'm sure you found out.
In no sense was that fun. We are in search of something we've lost. We've been sent by our town, and
Oh, of course. And
yes,
who is
and
it? Fu kind of looks over at Natu, and Natu nods and looks back at Juna and says, "You can give them their item now." And Juna like walks over and is like, "Oh yeah, here." And they pull out the bug sending stone. This is what you guys lost, right? We found it nearby.
oh, thank God, give it to me, please. he checks it to see if there's any way to check if has there been any calls on this?
Any missed calls?
Is there any missed calls?
Do you know how many days you've been out?
Wait, what? Did you mean hours?
That's me, DM Emily. That's me, DM Emily, asking, do you know how many days you've been out? Because if you know how many days you've been out, you can find out how many voice messages you probably missed, so to speak.
Yeah, we've been out 4 days. So, wait, what do you mean?
How long were you unconscious?
I don't know.
Exactly. Find out.
Oh, yes. I must have been out only a few hours. I didn't receive any calls in that time. Right?
Is calls? What?
How long was I out?
Those types of calls.
No, don't listen to him.
I mean, it was just a few hours.
Okay, thank God. Oh, thank God. And also, I may have been lying about him attacking me. However,
He struck first.
A psychopath that has no empathy for animals at all.
Untrue.
And killed my beloved.
I am entirely empathetic to all creatures of all walks of life, of all statures, big and small, furry and without fur.
Hey, so do you still have those limbs of my beloved bug mount friend in your pocket?
Yes, they perished to some trees. Oh, have you Lunuculi?
You hear Ura speak up for the first time, and it's just kind of this weird raspy voice that I'm going to try and do. Let's find out. And she just says, "Enough." Oh, that was bad.
Dear.
I loved it. It was good.
Thanks. But her one eye kind of stares at each of you very intently. And it kind of
Her
glows
one
a bit. It glows a bit, and you guys kind of get this sense of calm coming over you, kind of settling down. And then Natu's like, "Well, we've returned your missing item. As I said, you're welcome to travel with us for a time, but it's probably best if you don't stay here for long. And probably even better if you return to where you came from with your god, I have to assume."
Why is that?
Yes. Why is that?
Well, people don't last long without a god. It's unlikely you are nomadic as us without something to protect you.
Speaking of which, have you seen a hundreds of foot long centipede rampaging through this part of the forest?
Huh. And Natu, again, they have like a little conference together, just kind of chattering in their language for a bit longer than they have in the past. And Fu looks at you, Dorian, and is just like, Are you guys hunting that god?
So to speak.
Frankly, I don't know why I'm here with him.
Neither do I. I could have accomplished this alone. Yet my people felt the need to...
Doubtful you would have succumbed to those snakes.
I don't think the snakes would have noticed us to begin with if it weren't for your idiotic singing.
Untrue. I have a very sonorous and beautiful voice.
You feel two extra long hands, like longer even than Juna's hands, wrap around both of your necks, and you hear Ura again very quietly go,
Oh,
"Enough."
this is very comforting.
You freak.
Stop with your kinks, old man.
It reminds
And
me.
you see Natu at... Actually, roll perception.
Both of us?
Yeah, if you want to. If you want to perceive things with your eyeballs.
13.
What eyeballs?
Yeah, it's a good question, Otis. What eyeballs? Dorian, you kind of notice that at that movement, Natu and Fu get a little on edge. And they just are like, "All right, everyone." Natu says, "Let's just calm down. These two clearly have their issues, but they are not our issues. Right, Ura?"
Do not lump me with him.
The other one more than I.
Not you a withering glance.
I withering glance back.
How very...
Just aghast that she would withering glance at me, so I wither aghast and glance back.
You eyeballing me? I'll eyeball you.
Eyeballing an eye.
Takes two eyes to make an eye.
Natu, like, takes a deep breath and he's just like, "As I said, you can travel with us. But please do not cause any problems. We do not need more problems. And you can leave in the morning when we make camp. Or you can leave sooner. You get the sense he would prefer it if you left sooner. But it's up to you guys.
Just tell us, have you seen a rampaging 100-limbed insect running through this part of the jungle? You have not answered my question.
No, we have not.
You have not. Okay, that's all we need to know.
We've seen the trail, though. The holes in the ground, yes, that is his
Yes.
doing, or it's
Which
doing.
way did it go? Which way are they leading?
We're not following it. We're going away from it, if anything.
That's a good idea.
Okay, just give me a general direction.
We don't have a direction. It's back that way. And they gesture behind them.
All right, you folks you are all feral heathens without a sense of direction or way to control nature on your own. I see that now. I will go.
Roll dex save.
And you can keep the blithering idiot.
Roll dex save. Roll dex save. Roll dex save.
Nat 20, nat 20, 20.
Ah!
Not nat, but dirty 20.
You are able to dodge out of the way as Ura launches at you. As she turns around, all four on the ground's just snarling at you. Hissing at you.
Ah,
And Natu and Fu,
bestial in nature, I see as you are in mind. How quaint.
Oh, good.
both of you roll history.
History.
Don't lump me in with his danger.
But Dorian, I'll say yours is at disadvantage.
Oh, I can
11.
add dice to this. 19. That was a bad roll.
So, Dorian, for you, it's more of stories, again, because your bug people never really embody their god that strongly. Otis, this is more common where you're from, and you've heard of it more, but Ura is what is known in your guys' world as a demigod.
Fuck.
Because she embodies a lot more of her god than usual, hence the magic and the one eye. And you've insulted a demigod, Dorian.
As I have pointed out, he can be dangerous.
I'm not dangerous for speaking my mind. Now, if you'd please get out of my way, I have a god to hunt.
You're very calm for a demigod that is actively still trying to attack you. I know I haven't really painted the scene justice, but she's going to launch at you again, and Natu and Fu are trying to get in the way of you two right now.
I've drawn my arrow and pointed it at her.
Oh, good.
And I have, let's see.
I don't. I'm really tempted to intervene on Ura's side, but I don't know how they'd feel about that.
Fascinating.
How does pass without trace work? I don't just blip out, right? I have to hide.
Nope, you have to hide.
Fuck.
You want to tuck behind Goliath or something?
No.
Just hide under Goliath.
Blood does not have to be spilt on this day. Now please move, as I wish to be on my way.
You're free to go, Natu kind of shouts at you, all kind of earlier demeanor gone, as him and Fu are both trying to restrain Ura. Her eye is glowing very much.
I take Goliath and old man, feel free to travel with me or not. I don't really care, and I hope you'd rather stay with these beasts. And I take Goliath and I say, yeah, and we start going.
Oh dear, this is a conundrum. Because unfortunately, Otis most likely would not pursue with Dorian. I believe I will remain with you, civilized people.
So while you're making this introspective thought, they're still trying to actively restrain Ura. And so Juna kind of walks up to you and is like, we should probably go towards the front of the line while they try and calm her down. It's safer for you up there.
Oh, very well. I am sorry about my associates' brash and unhealthy behavior.
Margoon is also following you guys, and she says a thing, and Juna's like, shh, Margoon, not nice.
No, he deserves anything unnice, frankly.
It's just, that's the risk with accepting newcomers, unfortunately. It's a risk we're used to. And bad for Ura, she's gonna feel awful. She tries so hard to... It's hard when you're a demigod. She works really hard to be calm.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record saying this, which isn't a thing that anybody possesses in this world, but I understand.
What's a broken record?
I don't know. It's a saying that exists in Sateska. Frankly, I don't understand it myself. I don't know what a record is.